Welcome. It is so nice to have you here this morning with me in San Diego and at the end of her day with Carola van der Hoeff in the Netherlands. We are here for a micro moment in Planner Perspectives. I'm Terry Roberts with To Synergize, a Simple View consulting company, and I would like to welcome our guest this morning. Carola van der Hoeff is the Chief Executive Officer and Congress Director of the International Pharmaceutical Federation. Good morning, Carola. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Terry. Very happy to be there with you. Thank you very much for the invitation.
I think I should say hello to you, perhaps bonjour, hola, and hello, right?
All languages I'm familiar with, yes.
All
sure.
the languages that you are familiar with. Carola, you were honored in 2019 as PCMA's Global Business Events Executive of the Year. So that's quite an honor.
Oh yes, it was. It was a big surprise for me, and I was extremely proud to be recognized by my peers, and especially also by PCMA for this award. And I'm still very proud of it. And you can imagine this year there should be another person, but I don't know exactly what happens because it's normally always announced at the IMEX. And as you know, IMEX is not taking place this year.
Well, maybe you'll get to hold on to your crown, Carola, a little bit longer.
Yes, that would be great. Very proud, very honored, let's say. Yeah.
So your organization really serves practitioners, scientists, educators, new pharmacists, right? Bringing over 132 national associations in under your federation.
That's correct, yes.
And there's a lot going on in your industry right now.
Yes, for sure. As you can imagine, pharmacists in general are having a very important role to play in this moment in the special situation with COVID. And so we are doing a lot to support our pharmacists. And then on the other hand, you can imagine that the scientists, which we also represent, are working hard to see what, the invention of the new drug, which can help, or vaccine, help help to find a solution for the COVID-19. So yes, there's a lot going on in the moment.
Yeah, so many of us really keep your industry, the scientists, the medical industry, in our prayers daily, just for just all of the hope and opportunity that you're offering. So, Carola, this idea came about. We had an industry webinar with ICA about a month ago and had a couple of astute planners at the time talk about this whole relationship building in this very difficult time that continues between planners and their suppliers. And so I have three quick questions that I'd love to just check in and get your pulse check on how planners and suppliers can continue to build the relationships and work really seamlessly together over this time. So I'll start with my first question, which is this whole idea of trust and transparency, two things that we know that are always important in good business relationships, but vitally important at this time. So from your perspective, how can suppliers continue to build this trust and to keep open this community, this conversation of real transparency, both now during this time of kind of business interruption, but also as sales recovery, whatever that will look like, begins to happen?
Yeah, I think at the moment you can see that there is quite little sales from convention bureaus, from suppliers towards us as associations. I think everybody is facing difficulties at the moment and see what can be done this year. If you ask me, I personally feel that there will be not a lot of face-to-face meetings this year, or people will go, most of the associations will go to virtual events. Trust and transparency is in this moment very important. I personally like the personal contact with my suppliers, and to have open discussions. Of course, the main thing is the agreements. We are facing, we have seen and heard that you have always the force majeure. So what can you do about that? So we as association, or our association is really working with our suppliers on open and transparency. Luckily, we have been working very closely with them, and we haven't faced any problems. Everybody was very flexible. But I have to say also, on the other hand, I do realize that it's only not associations who are facing the problems, it's also the suppliers.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a joint collaboration, because it's not that of course associations are NGOs, we are there, but it's not that there's a different level. So for me, it's really important, the close collaboration, openness, and partnerships. I think that it's too early at the moment to do business for future, because you can see that a lot of associations are just want to get through the year, see how they can manage their budgets, because normally if you have a congress, you have a kind of a certain profit to manage your year and your headquarter, but this starts again. On the other hand, I think it's also very important that suppliers will react on what's happening, because there will be a change in the future.
Yeah.
I hope this answers your question.
It does, and it kind of leads nicely, Carola, into my next question is, we won't go back to business as usual, right? And there will be this great need for suppliers to really understand your top priorities and your top concerns, right? As you are working back into that transition to meeting again for the first time. So what kind of examination and understanding are you expecting from your suppliers? How are you expecting them to educate themselves and to really be aware of what you need from them and not work on assumptions?
Yeah, it is a difficult question, and also I think it's a question which we as associations and suppliers need to work together. For example, if you look at venues, congress centers or conventions, they have to adapt extremely because of the social distancing. Normally they may have a room for 600 persons, and they can only now accommodate 100 persons. Is that something what we want? Is that something and who's going to pay this? Because it's not only it's safety is first, of course, but it's a difficult thing, because you cannot expect that people or venues will simply adapt to the associations, which most probably will need to be happening, and then that they have to pay for it. So it's a combination again to see how we can work together. I think that as soon as there's a vaccine, we will go back to face-to-face, or call it hybrid meetings, because I think that we all were expecting that there will be a change in meeting face-to-face, that it will be accelerated. But I'm 100% sure, if there's a vaccine and people feel comfortable to travel again, that people meet face-to-face again, because that is eventually that people want to network and see each other. Again, it's a great opportunity for a lot of associations that they can go virtual. So there's a combination for face-to-face and virtual. It would be a hybrid. So it's a collaboration between suppliers and associations. Suppliers cannot do it alone. We need to work together and collaborate and talk to each other. Openness, trust, and transparency, I would say.
Yeah, you bring up that word again, which is really this delicate balance, so that really to understand and to really make sure that they're communicating their changes in protocol. To that end, you bring me to my last question, Carola, in our just a few minutes here, which is the role of destination organizations. So many communities will be reaching out to planners as they move to, kind of collectively communicate these paradigms. Tell me from your perspective how you see destination organizations or convention and visitors bureaus as having a role in bringing their communities together to communicate and to share with you in a collective way that doesn't have everyone kind of doing one-offs.
Yeah, I think that from the point of view of convention bureaus is that they really have to understand the needs of the associations and make sure that they will be in the middle to work with the suppliers in their country or city with the associations, because they can be the intermediate to help associations to get to the solution. And there are great examples worldwide, which I've seen that it works well. And of course, there's always also an issue that there are convention bureaus who will be able to get also financial support to make it happen for the associations to bring the conference to the city or country. On the other hand, marketing is very important for associations, so that they play a role in the country to get the governments familiar with the Congress, and that they can bring more participants towards the Congress itself.
Great insight and advice for the supplier community. Carola, we really appreciate your minutes that you've spent with us this morning and this afternoon and this evening, wherever you are in the world today. We hope that we'll have an opportunity to again soon see you face to face.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Have a great day.